I mean, so many of us go to college, we don't know. We still don't know. So I started off and I was acting. And I got the lead in the play as a freshman. That doesn't happen. So I was doing pretty well with it. And I hated it. I hated it. So I dropped out. I applied at University of Calgary, where I grew up, right? Quit. Actually, I never even went to that one. But I did go to another school. Went to Rocky Mountain College, where this Bible college. Just wanted to learn a little bit about what I believed and go a little deeper. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. Show of hands, you can relate to this a little bit. You felt this way once in your life. Maybe some of you even feel that way now. I just don't know what to do. How do I get it? Where do we go to find the answer? But that's what I'm driving at. So few people seem to know what they wanted to do, so they had no shot at helping me figure out what I wanted to do. You know what I really wanted, craved, was just somebody to just get into the soil of my life and help me sort it all out. Help me figure it out. Somebody speak into my life. That's when I met Joe Cardillo in March of 1993. He was running a Cutco office. I started selling knives. He became a mentor. He was smart, funny, wealthy, cool, and he cared. I was still acting at the time, so I invited him to this show I was at, and he gave. That's not like what a boss does. That's what a mentor does. And I was in. He believed in me, and he showed it. Not just in what he said, and I appreciated that, but in what he did. Daily time with him over the phone, we call it PDI. Got PCs with him where I could sit down one-on-one, we could talk about what was going on in my life. We'd hang out after conferences like this, go on road trips. Show your hands, you've had a great mentor. You know what I'm talking about, even though he's different maybe, but you've had a great mentor at some point in your life. Now, when you've got a great mentor, there's nothing better. And when you've had a great mentor, you know what it's like to be without. So I want to talk today about how to be a mentor. I want to talk about how to be a great mentor and also how to get mentored. Hopefully I've made the sale. But if I haven't, I want to just ask you guys real quick, why is mentoring good? What are the benefits, what are the values of having mentoring relationships? You can tell me, some thoughts. Accountability, great one. What else? Direction, just some perspective, right? Help me figure out where to go next. Mentors, what else do they do? Yeah.
They lead.
They lead. What else do they do? Show you that they care. Sometimes that's enough. They're like, I don't know, but I care about you. I'm like, that's enough. That's all I need. What else? Right. He says, when you mentor someone, you remember stuff you forgot you knew. You're like, oh, people are like, that's so great. I'm like, yeah, that's amazing. Somebody called me this weekend. They're like, I just wanted to thank you for mentoring me all those years ago. IATA, I still use that. I was like, that's awesome. What is that again? I am the answer. I taught him that like 6 years ago. I was like, dude, that's incredible. Thanks for sharing that with me. He's like, what's yours? And I'm like, but I forgot, so it's yours now. Right? What else do mentors do? Build confidence, right? Based on something real, hopefully, yes. They help you grow, right? That means sometimes they can't leave you where you're at. We're talking about accountability, right? Part of what a mentor needs to do is make sure they nudge you along. Sometimes that's uncomfortable. Mentors in the room, make sure you use a scalpel, not a saw. Scalpel cut as least amount as necessary, right? I want to walk you through how to make a difference. I walk you through how to be a great mentor, just some thoughts. How to pour into people, how to listen, how to support, how to be a great student of life so that you can help, lead, and influence people and eventually, hopefully, work for yourself. If you're interested, I got some notes here for you. Ready? Say, I'm ready. I'm ready. First thing you gotta do is you just gotta get started. You gotta get started. Just show you some lessons that I picked up along the way. First one is just decide. I'm gonna mentor people. I'm gonna help people. I'm gonna do it. You never know, by the way, when inspiration will hit you, do you? You never know when it's going to hit. It could hit one of you today. Today. It could have hit you just a few seconds ago. It might hit you later today. I don't know. I know when I was at National Sales Conference in 93, it was in Toronto. I'm Canadian. I grew up in Vancouver and then Calgary. I started selling Cutco. We went to Toronto for our first summer sales conference. It was like June 20th, 1993. It was amazing. I literally wrote 3 things down on the back of the program. that I achieved later in life. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, right? Tell you a little bit of the story. But if you're curious what are those 3 things, just in case you're interested, one was winning a scholarship. I just saw people competing for that. I was like, dude, that is awesome. I would love to win an All-American, but I live in Canada. So at least they had a scholarship race I could compete in, and that was cool. Second thing is I wanted to be Joe Cardillo's right-hand man. I wanted to be his protege. I wanted to be his Padawan learner, right? I wanted to study at Cardillo's feet. I wanted to hang around this guy. I knew I was going to be better. Whatever I decided to do, I knew if I hung around this guy for a while, I was going to be better. The third thing was I wanted to run my own branch office. I wanted to run my own branch office. I went to a conference, I was like, I don't know if I want a career, but what these guys are doing is awesome. They have their own offices, they have their own staff, they have their own receptionist team. I wanted it. So I'm going to unpack these later, but I'm encouraging you at some point, you're going to be inspired. Write it down. Decide. Decide. You got to get started. You know, when you're at your peak emotional state, that's when you want to make some great decisions, some great choices. When you're fired up, you want to make an action plan during that season, during that time. They're short, aren't they? Like when you're fired up, they're usually short. Even in Vector, they don't happen all the time. But when you get one, man, write it out. And then you execute it. Let me show you the decision train. Show of hands, you've seen the decision train before. All right, I'll take a little time to explain this, unpack this. How do most people make decisions? They make it based on feeling. Most people live through life blown about wherever life blows them. It's tragic. Even in America, this happens every day to most people. Hey, if I feel good, I'll do the thing. If I'm doing the things, then I'll get the results I'm looking for. And that works as long as I feel what? Good. What's the problem with this model? Is eventually I'm going to feel bad. You can't always feel awesome. Even in a Vector office, I know we try to pretend that we're always positive, always fired up. Sometimes we're not. So what do you do when you're not fired up? Here's what most people do. They stop doing the things. Whoa. Train's broken. If the feelings are gone, I don't do the stuff. If I don't do the things, I don't get the results. If I'm not getting the results, I might make decisions that may or may not reflect the best version of me. I can't tell you what to do today. Here's one thing I can tell you that has served me very well over the years, is to put feelings in their place. Feelings are important, yes. But nobody told me this when I was a kid. That marriages take work. Here's a classic example, right? Show of hands, you've been in a relationship before, it's been relatively decent amount of time, 6 months or more. Show of hands. Remember how it started, how did it feel? By definition, it had to feel good, otherwise you wouldn't have showed up. Everybody following me on this one? Right? So you're feeling gushy, you're feeling good, you're sending the text messages, how are you? Good, how are you doing? I mean, all that stuff, right? I called my wife today at work, she's like, what? Everything okay? Like literally one of those, right? It's like, I just want to hear your voice. She's like, yeah, I'll call you later. Love you. Don't get her wrong, she's really squishy and lovey. She's at the hospital in front of her coworkers. What's she gonna say? Right? So, feelings, they're great. The problem with those relationships is that every relationship after 6 months, it's called the honeymoon bubble, and it bursts, and then that relationship takes what? Work. Work. When you don't feel like it, which is why it's so hard. Some people go, oh, that's why I've been in a relationship more than 6 days. No, it's longer than 6 days, right? But I'm saying at some point it takes work. You've got to work through it. In fact, when you're at that peak emotional state, if you come up with a list of things, reasons that you need to do and take action on that thing, then the feelings follow. What am I talking about? So I had a fight with my wife, and it was a bad one. And I didn't want to go on this date. I didn't want to go out at all. I didn't want to go on the date, but I went anyways. You know why? Because on November 6th, 1999, in front of my friends, my God, my family, I said, this is the one. This is my Ezer Connecto, my lifesaver at my elbow, and I'm going to do the right things, whether I want to or not. So I started the date angry, and at the end of the date, how did it end? Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. With ice cream. Totally awesome makeup ice cream, if you know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you can't drift through life just waiting for the feelings to come around. What if the feelings don't come? What if I don't feel fired up? You can't wait to feel fired up. You just gotta start doing the things sometimes, you know what I'm saying? You gotta start doing the things that you know you ought to do, whether you like it or